This cross and crown symbol look like a good project to trace out and cut on a laser. I'll be using logic trace to trace out this full-size diagram, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define the 4 points. By defining the 4 points, I'll be touching the 4 corners of the diagram, and that will size our diagram on the display. The next thing is to start tracing out the perimeter of the diagram, and I'll start off with the line command. Then I'll switch to the curve points to go around that bit of a curve there. For that large circular tracing, I'm going to use the curve fit command. Having that control window with those 4 buttons there makes it really easy to select which tracing command you want to use. Very quick. I'm going to have to use the curve fit twice because there's 2 of those circular arcs on the diagram. And then the line command for that small short piece. But you can see the curve fit makes pretty quick work of tracing out that circular part. Again, I always mention I save my work frequently. This will complete the tracing of the outer frame. Now we'll start on the inside. Start off with the inside tracing by using the line command, and then I'll switch over to curve fit for that arc again. But at the top there, I'll switch over to the line command. So it looks like I'll be using the line command for quite a bit of the left-hand side of this diagram with the crown and the cross. Again, I'll be saving my work. I do that frequently. It's a pretty straightforward diagram to trace out. It's only got 2 commands that I'll be using, the line command and the curve fit. Also to mention, you'll see that red pencil in there, and I use that to mark off my starting spots and make sure I don't over-trace that spot. I always mention that the more care you take when you're tracing, the less editing you'll have in the end. And again, I save my work. Getting close here to finishing up my tracing, so I'll save that final file. I'm going to run that file through Vectric Aspire 11.5 just to check the vector quality and add some words. I'm going to add that text, and then I'm going to run it through the simulator. The text isn't worth tracing. You may as well just use the computer to put the text into the image. I like to run the simulator because then it gives me a chance to see how this project is going to look. Then I'll load the file into the CO2 laser software. First thing I'll do is run the laser simulator to see how much time it's going to take to do this cut. It looks like about 9 to 10 minutes. I'm using a brown hardboard. I call it masonite. It's kind of like an MDF. It's an 1/8 inch thick, cuts really easy, and it cuts fast. But it looks good. All you got to do is give it some black paint. Looks fantastic. The trick with the cutting is to use high pressure air. I'm using about 30 psi of air here to assist on the cutting. You'll also notice that each corner has a strip of this scrap masonite or this hardboard, and I use that with magnets just to make sure that that masonite or that hardboard is not lifting up a bit, because it can warp with the heat. And by using this type of material for a hold down, if the laser hits it, the laser will just cut it, won't damage the laser head. The material doesn't have to be this 1/8 inch hardboard. You could use wood, or you could use plywood. You could even go to metal or acrylic. 1/4 inch acrylic would look good. Using this laser to cut, say, thin metal on this project requires oxygen. It uses a lot of oxygen. Pretty well finished up cutting. I'm just doing that outside border. Next thing, I'll pop off the excess, the background. We'll see how it looks. Looks like a good clean cut. I then gave that profile 4 coats of black lacquer, and it looks good.